Family, what's up? What's up? What's going on? Kings and queens, what's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Yo, yo, family, what's good? What's good? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing, family? What's going on? Yo, family, what's good? Peace and love. Peace and love, y'all. Yo, family, how y'all doing? Peace and love. What's going on? How y'all doing, fam? Good evening, everybody. Everybody, good evening. How y'all doing? Peace and love to y'all. How y'all doing? Non-citizen, non-UCC. Okay. I'm all good, King. How about you? How about yourself? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Oh. Ooh. What's going on, fam? How y'all doing? Family, what's going on? Long time no see. We're gonna get right to it. In 2 minutes. Soon they hit 2 minutes, we're gonna get right to it, fam. Family, what's going on? What's going on? Peace and love, peace and love. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm be talking about court cases tonight. We're gonna get on the credit for the rest of the week, but tonight we're strictly talking about court cases and everything like that. And I'm just gonna teach a lot of people who are national to how to deal with it. The credit, we hitting credit all tomorrow. I'm doing all credit videos. I'm actually gonna release my credit videos probably after this, because I'm not really gonna go live until like tomorrow and talk about the credit. But peace and love, y'all. How y'all doing? What's going on, fam? Paul enslaved students got kidnapped after being arrested. Wow. Okay. Damn, that's crazy. Okay, family. Family, what's going on? What's going on? So let me explain to y'all, right? Let me explain to y'all, right? So update with my criminal case. So my criminal case now, like I told you guys, the news. My motion got denied, right? Now, let me explain how this whole thing works. So many people won't get off topic. I was arrested for a gun in the state that I'm originally from, and they pulled my old contracts that I originally had with that state in order to bond over the case for the criminal charges, right? And so they charged me with felon in possession of a firearm, right? And so I've been going back and forth to court, been going through this whole thing, right? Now let me explain how this stuff worked. Now, originally, right, I went to court to challenge jurisdiction, right? Initially, right? Now, I didn't challenge it the way I needed to because the circumstances that was at hand. Because when they first locked me up and I bonded out, they gave me special conditions. That mean they wanted me on house arrest, right? House arrest is pretty much like you being arrested because you technically in custody, right? So when I went to a preliminary hearing, I ended up having bond court, right? Not bond court, but I had a bond hearing right after. And so this is going to determine whether or not I was going to be able to get all my bail conditions released. And so I flipped the narrative and kind of proved that the officer didn't have the right to search the vehicle, right? And so when that whole thing took place, right? And when you look at the whole circumstances, what I did was I made it look like it was a violation of my Fourth Amendment, right? Now, many people be like, man, what about challenging jurisdiction? What about doing this? I'm like, look, at that time, when I went ahead and cross-examined the officer, I wanted to go ahead and use and implement the violation of my Fourth Amendment rights before we start touching other things. Because have it would have been, I was too concerned about this jurisdiction thing, I still would have had those conditions. Now the conditions is gone. I don't have those conditions. I can leave the country tomorrow if I want to, right? So that's the good thing, right? So what's the next step? What's the next thing to do? The next step is to do my next motion, right? Because I want to explain to y'all, right? When y'all dealing with these administrative courts and everything like that, you can challenge. Remember, the Constitution grants you the right to challenge jurisdiction at any time because you got many different elements of jurisdiction. You got territorial jurisdiction. You got general jurisdiction. You got personal jurisdiction. You have subject matter jurisdiction, right? So you have all of these elements of jurisdiction that can be challenged at any time. And remember, challenging jurisdiction can happen anytime right before trial or even after trial. Because remember, jurisdiction can't be waived. So even on a day of trial, if the defendant can bring up the argument of challenging jurisdiction, that case or at that particular time will has to be seized until the court can prove its jurisdiction. You get what I'm saying, family? And so when we dealing with jurisdiction claims and everything like that, when we dealing with when jurisdictional claims and everything like that, you want to make sure you're on the right battlefield, right? You want to make sure you're in a position to represent yourself. You got to make sure you don't have an attorney on your case. You got to make sure that all of your ducks in a row. Because I've seen so many people go in court and they challenge it without properly filing a motion to do it. Because if you go in court on your first appearance, and this is supposed to be a preliminary hearing, and you go in there trying to challenge jurisdiction, that claim won't be addressed by the court because it wasn't properly filed to the court. Because anything that's properly filed to the court is obligated to hear that, whether they agree with it or disagree with it. But you still have the right to propose that, but you can't propose a challenge to any jurisdictional matters if you haven't properly motioned it to court. And many people who've been teaching you guys this way of like being sovereign or being a non-citizen national, they're not properly teaching you how to motion up your cases. And when you motion up your case, it's simple as going to the clerk's office and say, hey, I would like to schedule a court date. And your court case number that you have, you write that court case number on file, or they'll search it up for you, and you can find it. And when you locate your court case number, that's when you can write on the motion to dismiss, challenging subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction, or whatever jurisdiction you arguing against. And you also showing and challenging and stating the claims of you challenging jurisdiction. And what the court has to do is, within the time after you filed it, the court is now prepared to hear your motion. And now once the court is properly prepared to hear your motion, the prosecutor will be there, the judge will be there, and the person who makes the final determination is the judge. Now, in terms of jurisdiction, what many people get confused, jurisdiction is not a matter of facts or statute. It's a matter of law and venue. So when you're dealing with the venue, is that the proper venue for this matter, right? Because now you're talking about the matter of the case. And so when you bring up these certain arguments, most courts that we deal with are Article 1 courts. These are not Article 3 courts, right? And so when you're dealing with Article 1 courts, these are administrative courts. Jurisdiction can be raised at any time in administrative courts, but once it's properly motioned to the court, because once the court received it and is properly addressed to the court, once the motion has been successfully filed, once you look over all the details and also the case law that supports the motion, once you look up certain laws and things in the Constitution that supports the motion, all of that needs to go inside the motion in detail. And not only when you write a motion, do you supposed to just put anything like I'm a sovereign, I'm a national, birth certificate. No, none of those can help you state an actual grounds for a dismissal because you challenging subject matter jurisdiction. You must understand the law or the crime you're being charged with. You also need to see if any federal statutes pertain to that charge. So I'm gonna explain it. So in state court, if you was a felon with a gun, they're charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. In federal court, it's under NAD 22G. NAD 22G is being a felon in possession of a firearm. NAD 22G is the original charge over being a felon in possession of a firearm because the federal courts has original jurisdiction over that subject matter. State courts might take priority over certain conflicting, laws when dealing with state and federal. But when a state court pick up a crime that the federal court also convicts and charge people of, that's also a way where a person can want to challenge subject matter jurisdiction under those grounds, because you could claim that the court lacks original jurisdiction over the subject matter, or not even just original jurisdiction over the subject matter. That's when the injured party, that's when everything take place with that, right? But it has to be properly addressed to the court. And so when I went to court and I fought the motion, my goal was to see, was the judge fair. It really wasn't about the motion to quash arrest. Whether they would have found probable cause or not, that would have been perfect. That was just the easy way out. And I wanted to use that just so I can get off of house arrest. I got off, right? I've been got off since last year in September, right? But that wasn't my strategy. That wasn't my strategy to beat this entire case. That wasn't my strategy. That was just for me to get off, because when you go through the process of challenging jurisdiction, now you put yourself in a different fire now. Now you put yourself in something different. You don't want any situation where the states feel like they got the upper hand. And anytime you state an argument to the court, it has to be properly addressed. And the rhetoric and the wording that is used with your argument has to make sense. So when people go to court and they say, this court lacks jurisdiction, why does this court lack jurisdiction? Why are you claiming that the court does not have original subject matter jurisdiction? Why are you saying this, right? Because if you just go in court and say this court lacks jurisdiction, that's gonna be a damn tug of war game. Yes, we do. No, you don't. Yes, you do. No, you don't. Yes, you do. Yes, we do. No, you don't. That's all it is. But when you state your claim and you state the argument and you state under the grounds of why, now the state is forced to prove it. Without proving subject matter jurisdiction and also comparing that with case law, that's when they lose their jurisdictional powers. So whether a defendant plead to a case, whether they didn't plead to a case, subject matter still can be challenged, even in federal lawsuits. This goes for both federal and state, and also it goes for criminal and civil, because most people are under the impression that if you was charged for a crime in state court, that means that state court has jurisdiction. State court is what you consider general jurisdiction. State court take on a plethora of cases, whether it be a state crime or a federal crime. State court is general. So if you can kill a water bug, state court want it. You can kill a president, state court want it. You can do a bank robbery, the state court will want it. It's general jurisdiction, but jurisdiction can be challenged at any time. Now, most people, when they go to court, and you will see these people on YouTube and TV, and you will say, oh, sovereign citizen tries to claim this court don't have jurisdiction. Number one, he don't understand procedure. So most people that claim to be sovereign, claim to be nationals, they don't know procedures. And they don't honor procedure, and they don't respect the judge. So the judge don't respect them. My judge respect me. My judge told the prosecutors denied certain things. They denied them. They overruled them. So when I was cross-examining the officer, the prosecutor was trying to say, oh, we object to him asking these certain questions. The judge said overruled. I was bringing up certain arguments. The prosecutor was like, we reject that, right? Object to it. The judge is like, overruled. You have to understand that originally the judge is not against you. The judge just hate the ignorance of people who come in the courtroom. And they hate the over arrogance and the person who feel as though they got it all figured out. You go into the courtroom, munch on me, but you're not understanding this is chess, not checkers. This is easier than what y'all think. Been getting in my way the entire court case. I set my own court dates. I represent myself. Now, one time the judge said, hey, I think you should get an attorney. Never one time. The judge said you will be treated as an attorney, but also respected as an attorney as well. Because when you represent yourself, now you put yourself in a better position. Now, certain case laws or arguing certain factors take place once you're in those positions. Now, some people use the word represent yourself or represent the trust, or whatever you want to do. You still got to show decency and competency. Most people don't even get to that phase because most people have an ego problem. They go into the courtroom, they have an ego problem. They can't sit down and allow the prosecutor to speak, and then he speak right after the prosecutor. You got to think, when I went to court, these prosecutors are dumb. Meaning, the level of education when dealing with what we learn and what they learn is not the same. My cousin is an attorney, right? Now, me and him talk about this all the time. He have a limited delegated of authority, so it's only so much he can do. I asked him a couple questions. I said, "Hey, can you make any Second Amendment challenges?" He said, "No," and I said, "Why?" He said, "The Bar Association don't allow it." And I say, "Why you couldn't make a Second Amendment challenge?" Because it's against our duty, right? And so you hear a lot of judges rejecting Second Amendment arguments. You like, so you mean to tell me that the member of the Bar Association can't? And so when people be saying stupid stuff, go get a lawyer, go get a lawyer. Lawyers are good for civil matters, not criminal, in my opinion. If you're not fighting a criminal case involving an injured party where now the facts is important, then I wouldn't get an attorney. I would get an attorney if I caught a murder or if I did an armed robbery or a kidnapping where it involves an injured party. Yes, I would get a lawyer. Or I would get a lawyer if I'm dealing with a civil lawsuit. But I would never get an attorney when dealing with constitutional matters like a gun case, your Second Amendment, or you traveling, right? Your right to travel, whatever the case might be. I would never get an attorney for those matters. You get what I'm saying, family? So you have to understand how this whole thing works. It is such thing as a non-citizen national. A non-citizen national is defined by a person who lives in the outer possession of the United States, and or a non-citizen national is a person who's not a citizen of the District of Columbia. You can search it up. Go to the Department of State website. You can search out what a non-citizen national is. And it's not even about status, right? Most people get caught up in being a status. Status. So you people get caught up with being a Moor. Some people get caught up with being Native American, right? Those are nationalities and statuses, right? But that has nothing to do with jurisdiction. And I think many people get that confused because they don't understand that jurisdiction arises out of contracts, right? And you can read your state website when dealing with statutes and jurisdiction and everything like that. And it's something called minimum contacts. And minimum contacts is what they pull us in using due to the fact like E-Verify and all of those instruments and all that stuff. Those are the things that they locate and try to search you up with, right? And so y'all got to be careful when dealing with that. You got to understand, though, I'm finna explain something. Someone said that if a foreigner came to the United States, he got to adhere to the laws. Let me explain to y'all, right? I think many people get this confused. Laws and statutes are not the same. Statutes are commercial codes, commercial compiled codes that are passed by the state legislator, right? Now, state legislation might pass laws that conflicts with the Constitution. So many state laws conflicts with the United States Constitution. That's why certain arguments have to be proposed to the court, right? And so when many people say you got to follow the state law, you got to follow the state law, federal law trumps state law. Federal law is the supreme law of the land. State law are compiled statutes. Many people get those confused. And I don't know why people don't understand that. And by people not understanding that, they mixing up the terminology. And also, the one way a person get charged and all of that stuff is contracts with the state. A foreigner comes to America, most foreigners just get kicked out. Most foreigners get deported. And then remember, you can't be sovereign in a land that's not yours. You're not American. You are foreign national, meaning it's not your country. I could not go to China and exercise a constitutional right. I can't go to Saudi Arabia and exercise a constitutional right. I can't go to Mexico and exercise a constitutional right. That's not my nation. If I'm here, I can exercise my rights. If I'm there, I can't because that's not my land. You only sovereign in the land you're born in, and I don't think people understand that, and I don't think people really get that. Most people overlook that. That when people come here from foreign countries and they want to be non-citizen nationals, technically they are foreign nationals, but do they get the full ability to be Americans? Like a real natural American, no, they don't have the full ability. When you read the judicial review, you got Article 1 and Article 3. When you looking at Article 1 and Article 3, one is dealing with commerce. The Commerce Clause, search it up. Every state court is operating under commerce. That's why I personally talk to attorneys. You don't talk to attorneys. And I asked the attorney, I said, hey, is this administrative court? He said, yes. What does administrative court deal with? Administrative law. It deal with statutes. It don't have nothing to do with law. It has nothing to do with justice. Y'all know that, right? That's why it's called an administrative court. It's not an Article 3 court. And I think that's what we mix, and I think that's what we and I think that's what a lot of people mixed up. They think administrative courts are court. They think when they go inside the government building and they see the courtrooms, they see 102 and they see judges in gowns, they say, oh my God, these are judges. They are I don't know, they are enforcing law and everything like that. They are not enforcing law. They are enforcing compiled statutes. And the people who are subjected to those statutes have minimum contacts with the state, which are residents. But most people don't know how to attack administrative courts. Most people go to administrative courts and argue and yell at the judge. And they don't even know how to properly deal with procedure. They don't know how to properly file a motion to dismiss the case for the lack of jurisdiction. Most people don't know how to challenge. And when you look at that, that's the reason why most people in the scenario that they're in, because they don't know how to properly go about it. And you need to have everything, bro. You need to have everything straight before you go inside these courts. Why you? Yes, sir. I provide evidence. If you need evidence, I'll show you evidence. When you hire an attorney, you give up your government given rights. Yeah. When you hire an attorney, you get your God given rights. You said, how can you escape? Get rid of your contracts with the state and live free and get ready to fight for your freedom. And like I tell a lot of people, right? Freedom must be fought for. Most people come to me and they say, hey, I want to be free. And I say, you really want to be free? They're like, yeah. I'm saying, are you ready to fight for your freedom? Most people not. You're not ready to be free. You have to fight for your freedom politically. Politically, you have to fight for your freedom. So if you ever come across a time where you have to fight for your freedom, you have to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got to fight for it. You got to fight for your freedom, family. But any questions, fam? Any questions, family? Any questions? Any questions? What evidence would you like to see? What evidence you like to see? You gotta tell me which evidence you like to see so I can produce it, or I can explain the evidence, or I can point you to the right place. You gotta ask. You gotta see that's a broad statement. Any evidence? What evidence would you like to see? Once again, because I could just tell. I'm gonna tell you the evidence. Go to my video. Chicago police do not detain Lister Cornex, and you're gonna see the police let me go. That's the evidence, because you just said any evidence. So any evidence would be the Chicago police versus me, and when the police pulled me over, they just let me go. That would be evidence. You said Secretary of State, government, non-citizen nationals. Non-citizen nationals through the Department of State. I never said Secretary of State, through the Department of State. I know what it is, man. I love a freshly sharpened classic wooden pencil. What the? You are a fool. I don't know who this is. It's a bias. I won 2 cases alone, standing as a sovereign. I am here by special appearance only under the threat, caressing origin, and appropriate persona. Correct. Some people love slavery. Of course people love slavery. Y'all got to understand, family. You got to understand. If the banks want to keep this monetary system going, you got to have people in this world that follows the system. you got to have the puppets and you got the puppet masters. Y'all got to understand that, hold on, Risk, I could put you as moderator. You could be a moderator if you want to. Yeah, so like I said, family, you got to understand, you got a lot of puppets, whole lot of puppets, family. And honestly, you can't make no one free. It's not for everybody. Like I tell everybody, it's not nothing to argue with someone over freedom or not. They not ready to be free. That's the same way someone was talking about how to get rich. Everybody, oh man, this man is lying. You can't get rich. There's no way. The government programmed these man that much to believe that they can't do anything. Just like sovereignty, it's not really, listen, let me explain something to y'all, right? I think a lot of people got a major misconception when we talk about sovereignty. When people talk about sovereignty, they think that the people who talking about sovereignty is saying that no law on planet Earth applies to them. Not one person said that. We are only saying that there's rights in the Constitution that is given to the people that has been encroached on by the government, which took away the rights of the individual. That's it. The government took away your individual rights, like your individual right to bear arms, your individual right to be protected within your property, places, papers and things, or, your right to travel and stuff like that. And everything when dealing with your rights has been regulated. So instead of you bearing arms, you got to carry a gun with a license. That is converting your rights into privileges. Because if you got to get a license to carry a gun, that's not the Second Amendment no more. That's just having a gun license, which would be privilege. It's no longer a right. You converted it. That's all it is. So all rights has been converted. Prior to 1925, driver's license never existed. The government implemented driver's license codes and giving people driver's license. So people's free ability to travel is gone. It's been converted. That's it. So that's the only thing we see. So when y'all say no law applies to people who sovereign, nobody never said that. No one never said that the law don't apply to me. We are only saying that there are certain constitutional matters that caused the American people for our rights to be converted into privileges. So when you're dealing with the Second Amendment, once again, been converted into a privilege. When you're dealing with being a felon in possession of a firearm, that law was not implemented until 1968, right? So if that wasn't implemented to 1968, prior to 1968, felons had the right to bear arms, right? And so now you got the New York versus Bureau decision. What they say, the government must show and prove the historic findings and also the traditions to show and prove that certain gun regulations is consistent with our nation's constitution, which would be the Bill of Rights. And no gun law today is consistent with anything that's mentioned in the Bill of Rights. That's all I'm saying. So all of your individual rights has been converted into a privilege. That's it. That's it. None more, none less. You can't go out there and shoot somebody's head off for no reason. You can't go out there and kidnap kids. You can't kill no one. You can't. So I think that's where people get the misconception. And honestly, we apologize if y'all do get a misconception because it could be kind of confusing. So if you hear someone say sovereign, you would think they saying that I'm above the law. You have to follow the law. I do what I want. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. Yeah, family. Oh, yo, family was. Yeah, yes, you can own a fully automatic AK-47. You got your constitutional right. And also, don't get it confused, right? Let me explain to y'all, right? Let me explain to y'all. One person say that the Supreme Court would disagree with a lot of things I'm saying, right? Let me explain. You do have something in the give me 1 second. Hold on. What word I'm looking for? It's right there. Hold on. You do have something in the Constitution. I'm trying to figure out where it came from. Give me 1 second, family. You do have something in the Constitution that says anytime the government is encroaching on the rights of the Americans, That's when you you take up arms and you form a militia. Because remember, it's going to be a day where the government is fully against it. It's federal judges that taunts or make bad criticism about the Supreme Court justices. Because remember, today in modern day, most people have a democratic perspective. So when you got 7 people on a panel and we trying to pass a law in reference to something in the Constitution, most people' personal opinions get mixed up with it. So you might have a female panel, you might have a male panel, whatever views they have. One person might be Democratic, one person might be of the Republic. The Republic saying we got the right to bear arms. The Democratic judges might say we don't got the right. So if you got 4 judges that Democrat, 4 judges that Republic, they applying it to today. So they think if we allow everyone to bear arms without a license or any regulations, that might bring chaos. But that has nothing to do with the traditions of the Second Amendment, because there's no stipulations on the Second Amendment that removes that right. Don't matter the circumstances. Just because just because your perspective is that it might be chaos has nothing to do with the Bill of Rights. Because that's like basically saying, oh, if everyone gets to breathe for free, we'll lose money. It's not of the benefit of you, it's of the benefit of the people, because it's their God-given rights. So many people God-given rights has been taken away. Many people God-given rights has been stripped from them, and now their God-given rights, they are being mass incarcerated for exercising them. So that's all we saying. Ain't no such thing as a sovereign citizen. There's no such thing as a person who just saying that they're sovereign and they're above the law. No one's saying that. It's not. You can go to any video I said. Not one time have I ever said that I'm above the law. I can do what I want. I can hurt people. I can steal from people. I can rob people. You'll never see it. You will only hear me talk about rights, constitutional rights, and the government violated your rights. That's all you will see. You will see nothing else. Yeah, that's all. Can you own a nuclear bomb? Hell no, you can't own a nuclear bomb. I wouldn't, because technically that won't be an individual right. That'd be like some, like you gotta really control a country or a militia. What you doing a nuclear bomb for? That's a threat to public safety. That's in the Constitution. That's a threat to public safety. And what do you own? 100? Do you own 500 acres of land to store that, or you just have a nuclear? No. Yeah, a lot of people won't. Yeah, of course. You know, we slowly is becoming into a democratic form of government. Many of the southern states is resisting it, but the northern states, they got y'all in the headlock. That's why most of the people that's commented, they can't be from a republic state. They got to be from a democratic state. But don't get me wrong, a lot of Republicans are technically Democrats mentally, because they might pass on the bearing arms, but there's a lot of other stipulations that's within the state that's a violation to your freedom and liberty. That's a violation, just like that. Yep. Just like that, family. But look, so this week, family, I'm not trying to get off topic. This week, we talking about credit. We talking about how to run it up, what to do. Oh, I got some more credit and everything like that. We're going to talk about all of that stuff, family, all week. So tomorrow, I'm going to be back. I'm going to make some more videos and everything like that. Good night to y'all. You know, stay blessed, family. Peace and love, and continue to win. Where in the Second Amendment does it says you can restrict the right to bear arms based on public safety. But nuclear bomb is not bearing arms. Nuclear bomb is it's pretty much, it's a nuke. It's a nuke. It's not an individual thing. You personally, just you alone, is not operating a nuke. That's what I'm saying. That's not bearing arms. That's a nuclear damn bomb. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like I'm 100% against it, but it is questionable. Like, the fuck you got a nuclear bomb for? Unless you want to set up a militia in your own government, let's do it. But besides that, it's like, nah, hell no. You can own a Moab. All right, family. I'm gone. Family, peace and love, y'all. Stay blessed. I'm out. Peace and love, family. Oh, yeah. Anybody want to contact me for anything, you need help with any process, credit, status correction, you want to just learn, consultation, whatever, hit me up. Phone number is 224-463-1848. Two more times. It is 224-463-1848. Again, it is 224-463-1848.